Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 35 locations throughout the metropolitan New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. We're at Chateau Golf and Country Club in Kenner, so pardon the noise. Beautiful setting. It's 25th Annual Saints Hall of Fame Celebrity Golf Classic with Coach Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis, a host of current Saints players and former players, all benefiting the Saints Hall of Fame Museum, which is under renovation for the 50-year anniversary in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, reopening in late July, and it will be nice. That's a mouthful. I'm out of breath.
Yeah, all good. It's a great event, and a lot of players, a lot of former players. You mentioned Coach Payton, Mickey Loomis out here. Just a terrific time for these guys to kind of unwind a little bit before things start to get a little serious. We're a week away from OTAs. Of course, rookie minicamp in the books. A little shuffling in terms of some guys that came in for tryouts, getting a chance to stick now perhaps, and a lot of quick evaluation that has to take place. I'm sure these guys welcome the opportunity to unwind some.
Yeah, good weekend. We had our auction and reception for the Saints Hall of Fame at the Saints facility last night. Raised a substantive amount of money for the museum, so that's all good. Rookie minicamp, of course, concluded. Media not allowed to see it. But one of the things that struck me was just listening to and watching Rankins and Thomas and Bell. They seem like very mature young men, very sure of themselves. That's not always what you get from rookies. I was impressed by their demeanor, by their personality, and their maturity.
And I would add confidence as well. These are guys who come from systems that have produced winning programs. They play for coaches that have been very successful as well. And I saw a lot of that in in some of those comments that we heard over the course of the weekend when the media did have a chance to visit with them.
Yeah, certainly very impressive and good guys. College baseball was a good weekend for locals, unless your name is Southeastern, because UNO won 2 of 3 against the Lions, who have dominated the Southland Conference all year, but were somewhat fortunate to get away with a win on Sunday. Had to come from behind to do so in the 8th inning. It's a win they absolutely had to have. But again, a good weekend for the University of New Orleans. Good
weekend for UNO, and look, they've probably got to win the tournament to get in the NCAAs, even though their RPI is now hovering in the low 50s. Mm-hmm. It's just you're in a league that you need to probably win the regular season, like Southeastern is poised to do, to be in a position to get in at large. And UNO's hovering around 4th, 5th place right now, just like Northwestern State has actually got a better RPI than UNO does. But and then I kind of broke all of this down this morning from my story at SportsNOLA.com. It's a very good year for college baseball in Louisiana. As it stands right now, you've got 7 teams in the top 60 in the nation in RPI.
Very impressive. And then, of course, when you look at LSU, they've done exactly what they needed to do. We said when we sat here a week ago that they were going to have to win 5 of 6 against Arkansas and Tennessee. Well, they went one better, and they put themselves in position now heading into Florida to really position themselves to be a host, even though the SEC has 5 teams ahead of them in the RPI and another hovering right by them. If they can beat Florida 2 out of 3 on top of what they've done, I think they will host.
I think they will. I think if they can get the Northwestern game in the middle of the week and then get 1 out of 3 against Florida, I think they'll be fine, as long as they don't lose in the first round of the SEC tournament, and 1 of 3 would probably put them in that play-in round in the first day of the tournament. Ideally, if you could get 2 of 3 or even sweep, now you're into the top 4. Not only are you talking about a regional host at that point, Ken, but depending on how they fare in the tournament, I think all of a sudden now maybe they move back into the national seed conversation, because conceivably 4 SEC teams could take up half of the 8 national seats.
Tulane wins 2 out of 3 against Memphis. Normally that sounds good, but considering the magnified position that they're in terms of trying to host, that hurt them.
I don't know that it necessarily hurt them, because what's happening in the rest of the league. Look at what happened in the polls today. Tulane jumped from 18 to 11 in the Baseball America rankings. They're in the top 10
does that
in
matter?
The perfect game. It gives you a different perspective than the RPI. Yes, their RPI is 31 as of Monday morning, but I think if they win the regular season and win the tournament, or maybe at least get to the finals of their tournament, they could be in a position to be a host team when those things are set up Sunday night before Memorial Day, when the bracket announcement is made.
High school baseball, congratulations to the Falcons of St. Thomas Aquinas, the 2A state champion, having defeated St. Charles Catholic 3-1 in a matchup of area teams that we featured this year on the First NBC Prep Showcase. No surprise here that these 2 teams made it to the championship game as the top 2 seeds. And finally, one of them won their first ever state championship. For St. Charles Catholic, the wait continues. 6 times a bridesmaid, best program in the state to have never won one.
It's not such a bad thing when you're that good and you haven't won one. There's a lot of people that haven't come as close as St. Charles Catholic had, but congratulations to St. Thomas Aquinas. We saw them early in the year, and we learned very quickly that was going to be an outstanding team, and they continued to pile up win after win after win. They only lost 3 times the entire season. That is hard to do in the course of a 3.5 month baseball season in the high school level. And look, they and St. Charles Catholic were the 2 best teams in 2A. The power rating suggested it played out that way in the playoffs. They got to the finals, a good game, but St. Thomas Aquinas coming out on top.
And finally, are you ready for the draft lottery?
Ping pong balls. Let's see what happens. The last time the Pelicans were in this position, the ping pong balls bounced right, and Anthony Davis landed in your lap. Could we see a similar situation Tuesday night? Who knows? But you'd rather not be in this situation. You'd rather be in the playoffs. But let's see how it all plays out, and where the Pelicans end up drafting in the first round.
And Mickey Loomis here at the Saints Hall of Fame Celebrity Golf Classic today, not taking questions about the Pelicans.
No, although he did get asked about the lottery if he had any lucky charms in his pocket. Call LSU and see if they'll lend you one of those rally possums.
The possum?
Yeah. Hey, look what's happened there. It's all good luck right now. You need all the luck you can get, right?
Social media. Oh, my goodness. Then there was the tabby cat on the field at the Angels-Cardinals game. Doesn't seem to have helped either one of them. I'm not buying it. It's all good. Lenny, as always, thanks. Have a great week.
All right, you too.
That's our First NBC Bank Weekend Review, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 35 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana and into the Florida Panhandle. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. As the plane flies overhead, he's Lenny, I'm Kenny. That's Noise. Have a great week, and God bless you.